The gangster scene doesn't make any sense. With this, it's like, hey, let me show you out. And then Mayday pulls her little switch. And that's kind of like what we talked about with Stromberg, where Stromberg has this big table and you just think it's in some castle somewhere. And then it's like, oh, it's underwater. And then with this, it's just a boardroom. And then suddenly it's revealed like, oh, we're high up in the air. So not only is the way that Zoran kills that one guy fun and creative, but it also makes sense that he has to kill that guy to maintain the secrecy of his plot. And for all we know, he really only kills that guy and the leader of the miners, right? Who's also sitting at that boardroom table. Whereas with Goldfinger, he takes that one guy out and sends him on his way with the gold that he later has to pry apart from the car, whereas he could have just left that guy with all the other gangsters to die by gas. It's stupid. Oddjob kills the guy by shooting him, and then he goes and crushes the car, and then they have to bring the car back and separate the gold from it.
Forgive me, Mr. Bond, but I must arrange to separate my gold from the late Mr. Solo.
Get rid of one of those. Like, don't load it up with the gold. Like, why load it up with the gold when you're just going to have to separate it later? Or how once you shoot the guy, you don't need to crush the car anymore? But how amazing would it have been, though? And maybe it's because it was the 60s. But imagine if instead Oddjob just like pulled off and the guy's like, hey, you missed the exit, you stupid idiot. And then he just pulls into the car lot. He gets out and locks the doors. And then the guy's just stuck in there as the magnet comes down and picks him up. And he's like, no, hey, pounding on the windows and it's being crushed. And he's like,
that would be cooler.
Like, that would have been amazing. But instead, they did the stupidest thing.
I have a feeling that's what it was intended. But obviously,
I would hope so.
That couldn't be done.